Yo, what up, guys? This is a replay of our live seven-figure workshop. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact roadmap to build a seven-figure coaching business. Let's dive in. What is up, everybody? Thank you for taking time out of your day. And Travis, I'll let you let people in going forward. But let's see in the chat, how many of you on this call have a coaching business currently? If you currently have a coaching business, put a 1 in the chat. You've got clients, you're already making money. Most of you have a coaching business. How many of you are here because you want to start an online coaching business? Put a 2 in the chat. They're like, yo, Brandon, I'm here because I want to start my online coaching business. Put a 2 in the chat. Cool. So it looks like it's about 50-50. Definitely a lot of people who are wanting to start. Um, So yeah, I'm gonna make this valuable for both people, but this is the 2 comma workshop, right? And I'm talking to people who are crazy enough to believe that they could make 7 figures per year with their online coaching business. So here's what I'm gonna ask from you guys. I'm gonna ask just a couple things. I didn't come here to waste my time. So if you're not gonna pay attention, just go ahead, please just leave. Um, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Like I would rather not even have you on here if you're not going to pay attention. Two, and I love you guys. Two, if you're able to turn your cameras on so I can see your beautiful faces, that would be amazing. It's great seeing Melissa on, David on, Dennis with the beautiful smile. Looks like you have veneers, bro. It's crazy. But yeah, I want to see your guys' faces if at all possible. I know some of you guys might be driving. You might be at the gym right now. But if you can turn your cameras on, that would be much appreciated. And three, right? Really, you're here because you believe that there's some level of value on your life that you have to impact other people. Maybe you're on a low level right now and you're wanting to increase. And I'm believing that on this call, you're going to get exactly that. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to tell you guys my story, here in a bit. But before I do, I just feel to do this, and this is totally off the cuff, not even, planned, based on how you're supposed to do a webinar. I'm breaking all the rules on how to do a webinar with what I'm about to do. But I want to talk to you about really the true secret on how we got, our coaching business to where it's at. And here's how I did it. I actually gave my business to the Lord. I said, you know what? I'm done trying to do crap in my own strength. I'm done trying to, build a business my way. And, that got me nowhere. Did you know that your plan usually sucks? Right? If you had such a good plan, then why aren't you where you're, said you were going to be already? Right? I'll tell you why. Because men plan their own path, right? But the Lord is the one who enables you to get there. Okay? So I just want to share a couple scriptures and then we're going to dive in. Deuteronomy 8:18, okay? And remember, this is the 2 comma club workshop. I'm crazy enough to believe that each and every single person on this call has a gift in them and a purpose in them that could result in 7 figures. But here's the deal. Some of you, you don't need to make 7 figures because you're freaking stingy, selfish, and arrogant. Why in the heck do you deserve more money? You don't. You want a new car, you want a new house, you want a bigger studio apartment. Okay, fine. Go chase money the world's way. Make money your God, right? But some of you, and I believe most of you, are like, dude, I really have been feeling with where the world's at, with where politics are at. You been happen here in America. You look at, the Olympics, you see that the world is not in a good place. And you're like, dude, I want to be a part of the end time harvest. I want my life to actually glorify God. And if that's you, I want to show you how wealth is actually a good thing, not a bad thing. Deuteronomy 18, verse 18, it says this: Remember the Lord your God. Okay. For it is he who gives you the ability to what? Produce wealth. Okay. and so confirms his covenant. Did you know that God made a covenant with Abraham that all of his descendants would also be grafted into that covenant? And part of the covenant is the ability to create wealth. Did you know that the word love in our language, right, is really not the right word that according to the Bible, right? What love means in America is I like you until you lose your good looks. I like you until you lose your money. I like you until it doesn't serve me anymore. I like my business until there's a bad month. But love in the Bible talks about a covenant. So you're in covenant with God. And part of that covenant is the promises. And some of those promises are health, right? That you're going to have the ability to produce children. So if you're having a hard time doing that, that's part of your covenant to believe for, right? And another part of it is wealth. Now, it's not saying, hey, you're going to get rich overnight, but it is saying if you put God first, you will be above and not beneath. Now, check this out. But if you forget the Lord your God and follow other gods and worship and bow down to them, okay, you will be destroyed. And this is where many people find themselves, the love of money, right? Here's a verse about the love of money. For the love of money is a root, right, of all kinds of evil. And check out the word love again. That's the same word that speaks to covenant. Some of you are in covenant with money. Money's your provider. Money is what drives you to work. Money is what leads you. Money, 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 money. And it's a horrible freaking way to live your life. But if you'll get in covenant with God, money will find you if you need it. Some of you don't need more money because you have no vision, right? Why do you need more money? What are you going to do with it? Right? What if you could get a vision that you could actually reach people online, that you could, begin to minister to people online, that you could actually use your message for the good and not the bad? What if your message was bigger than you making more money? What if it was that people would fly in to your house and literally come to masterminds and your clients would fly in and you can go on retreats and people's lives would get changed just by hanging out with you? Some of you are like, oh, I'm a fitness coach. You're not just a fitness coach. You're helping people build their temple and steward it well so they can live a long life. Some people on here are mindset coaches. You're not just a mindset coach. You're a coach that helps people break out of limiting beliefs, break out of the seasons they've been stuck in, break into really the promise that God has in store for them. So I wanted to preface this next hour with these principles and truths and promises, right? Some of you, again, why would you get more coaching clients if you can't even steward the clients you have now? Why would you get more coaching clients if you're a freaking stingy person? You're not generous at all. Everything is about you, right? You have to have a vision bigger than just you. Now, I'm going to stop yelling at you and I'm going to, kind of bring us in to the 7-figure workshop, right? So if you're ready for this and you want to take stuff to the next level, let's put some fire emojis here in the chat. I'm going to share a quick bit about my story just so you guys can get to know me a little better. I know some of you know me, some of you don't. And then we're going to dive in to some practical stuff, and you're going to get a lot of things you can take away from this. So the 7-figure workshop, right? I just want to tell you, a few years ago, maybe 8, 9 years ago, I was not a 7-figure kind of guy. Okay. I struggled with alcohol. I was partying, and literally in this season right here on the left, I had an invention, believe it or not. And I was like competing at like invention shows, and I was a complete stoner, but we were actually like low key crushing it. Like we won a couple of awards. We were in the process of getting like all of our stuff 3D printed. And we're about to like get a deal with like a major corporation, like put our stuff, in the in stores. And with the Lord and realized everything I was pursuing was selfish ambition. Like literally, I would get drunk all the time, struggled with all kinds of different things. Like money would have destroyed me, right? So that's where I was at, in that picture. And I grew up literally on this street. Down that road to the left there was a trailer house that looked slightly better than this beat down shop. So I grew up, I was super poor. My parents actually struggled, with meth and were on and off drugs. And then I moved in to my grandparents' house shortly after, but I always had different business ideas. Literally, at one point, I was drop shipping What Would Jesus Do bracelets. I had a pool cleaning company, had a t-shirt company. There's a video of me literally YouTubing how to drop ship t-shirts. I used to buy and sell guitars. I had a personal finance coaching business here. Like I was always trying different things, and that's only a fraction of the things I tried, and maybe some of you are the same way. And then got right with the Lord, went to Bible college, um, you know, kind of shared some of the stuff with my mom, drinking, getting in debt, had an encounter with the Lord. And at Bible college, I met my wife. We decided to get married, and I had $200 in my bank account the night of the wedding. And I was like, what on earth am I going to do besides clean pools? I was making $500 a week. Okay. And this starts to, get us into coaching, right? And there was a student in the youth group whose mom, her name is Brooke Castillo, and she makes about 50 to 70 million dollars a year in her coaching business. And I ended up getting a job working for this guy's mom, right? As you can see, I made $390 in just a few hours on a weekend. And at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. I was getting paid $20 an hour. And then I moved up, and then I started shipping out all these boxes. But this is where my mindset started to change. Every single one of these envelopes, and there's about 3,500 of them, paid Brooke $297 a month, right? That's over $1 million a month just from online, from her podcast. Every single one of these boxes that you see paid her $25,000. And my job was to make sure the people that paid 25K got those boxes, and the people that paid 297 got those envelopes, right? And if whoever's drawing on the screen could stop doing that, you look like a drunk person trying to write. I'm just kidding. I love you, but yeah, it's distracting. So try to stop doing that if you can. So yeah, I mean, I had a simple job: send out the boxes and send out the envelopes, right? And through that season, like literally, I would listen to Dave Ramsey 24/7. I was finally making money. I was like, I got to get out of debt. I got to get my finances in order. And I was literally driving that car there on the left. I took the hubcaps off of it, put some tire shine on it, detailed the whole thing, and I was like, man, this is my Dave Ramsey mobile, right? And we ended up paying off $40,000 worth of debt. And that is such a key moment for me because it allowed me to get out of the rat race and actually start to use my money to build wealth and start businesses, right? So then I started a marketing agency. Okay. And this is the first business out of all the businesses that I mentioned that actually made money. Okay. Because I was working for Brooke and she had thousands of coaching clients. And she was like, hey, like, I don't mind if some of my clients work with you. So we started Elevate Social. Okay. This is where we help people with their social media agency. As you can see there, we got our first high ticket client paying us $3,000 a month. That's actually Brooke's husband coaching us on how to run a business, right? And essentially, we built it up to about 15 to 20K per month. But I realized most people were actually not joining for me to do the work for them. They were joining so I could teach them how I helped Brooke by managing her social media because I ended up moving up into social media, right? And, at the time I was like, dude, I'm going to start my own coaching business. We opened up an office, all this different stuff. But dude, there was still this like selfish ambition root in me of wanting to make money for my own, well-doing. Like we had a dope office, podcast room. People would come up there and work. I was making more money than I'd ever made in my life, with the marketing agency, taking on some consulting clients, and then just having literally a in-person co-working space. But there's one thing that I couldn't kick. Right under this office was a bar and a cigar lounge, right? And I could not stop drinking. And eventually, the Lord had to call me out of there because the people that were coming up there, they were lukewarm. We were just always talking about money, like app ideas, new things, blah, 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 blah. It was just so shallow. Like the whole goal of my life was to make money. And some people live their whole life that way. And I realized, like, hey, like this is not what I'm called to do. And I ended up moving back to my hometown, right? Um, the Lord had me literally shut down my coaching business. There's my first client ever. Those are just some of the YouTube videos I recorded in the office. And the Lord had me lay down everything. I quit my marketing agency. I quit the co-working space. I shut down my coaching business and I got a job as a sales rep. Like I said, I literally moved into this house, and this is the house I went through all of high school in, living with my grandparents. Okay. They moved into a nicer house. I bought this house from them. Sarah and I renovated the whole thing. And for 6 months, I was taking sales calls in this shed. Okay. So I was working for a coach and I was taking sales calls literally in this shed. And like Travis said, I thought genuinely, I thought I would never do business again. I was like, you know what? I'm done with business. I tried that. It led me down a bad path. And the Lord really just stripped all this stuff out of me. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Right. 6 months into just working a job, Lord connected me and Travis and gave us an idea to help Christians start online coaching businesses with the idea of making a big impact in the world, right? And I literally went from, redoing my house to taking sales calls, right, to starting our online coaching business, Kingdom Coach, right? That's one of the first challenges we did. We had a couple people on. There's Julie, our first client in Kingdom Coach, and then they just kept growing. Month one, we did 40K, then 70K, then 100K. Then I had the idea from the Lord, really, for the IG growth funnel. And then we kept growing 150K, 200K, right? To really where things are today. And then Travis is like, dude, I'm called to full-time ministry and all this stuff. And then we started working with people in scale, right? We did $220,000 in January. I had my clients fly in. People were encountering the Lord. My pastor was preaching. People like Asen, right? Came in at 5K a month and ended up doing 35K his first month. Brian, $7,800 day. When he joined my program, he had $250, right? Now he's doing about 50K a month. Tyler, right? Made $7,200 in a week as a fitness coach. Talon, right? The guy we just showed you earlier, did 300K, sorry, 272K. Teaching Christians how to grow on YouTube, like working with churches. So he's making a huge impact there. Andrew, right? 60K cash collected for April. Now he's doing over 100K coaching on real estate. Gia, over 50K a month, right? My YouTube channel grew to over 22,000 subscribers. My Instagram, 40 some. I used to have 2,000 followers. Nobody saw my stuff, but people at church and friends from high school that had no interest in what I was talking about, right? I got to meet Alex Ramosi, Sam Ovens, all these amazing things. And really, it led me to this question: why are you here and what is the point of a coaching business? And I basically boiled it down to a couple key things. Number one, and primarily, is to impact other people, right? The reason you want to start this business is to make an impact, usually because you are the transformation you're coaching on. If you're a mindset coach, you probably used to be in a bad place mentally. If you're a fitness coach, you probably used to be underweight or overweight. If you're a business coach, you probably used to suck at business, right? Number two is to make great income. I just showed you some of the powerful things you can do with great income. I got to give my pastor a Rolex. I got to host a client event where we sewed $18,000 into my pastor when he preached at my house, right? This doesn't happen if you don't make great income. Number three is to have freedom and fun, right? Some of you guys hate your business right now because it's not free and it's not fun. You're tied to a desk 24/7. You have no team members. You have no systems. You're burnt out. And this is really where the new model comes in, right? Right now, you might have a huge team, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you might not like the people that are on your team. You're probably stressed out, making low impact. You've noticed that your ad costs have went up. There's no consistency, right? I was just talking to somebody who had a record month, okay, several months in a row, boom, 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 and now they're having a terrible month, right? And this happens at the 300K a month level down to, 80K a month level. This also happens at the 30K a month level, right, to the 8K a month level. This also happens at the $3,000 a month level to the $800 a month level. It's just different numbers, but the same problems happen at different stages, right? And I know one thing, that this on the screen is a much better way to live, right? You don't just need more clients, right? Some of you are like, I need more clients. No, you need better clients, clients that pay in full, clients that whenever you do CTAs to book a call, they book a call, clients that whenever they do join your program, they take action, clients that whenever they get great results, they're thankful and tell other people about it, clients that when they get great results, they end up upgrading into your masterminds, right? You don't just need high revenue. Like it's cool to make a lot of, revenue. You need more profit. Why? Because it's literally pointless to make all this revenue and have no profit at the end of the day. You don't need this huge team. Like you'd be surprised that some people have 15 video editors, 45 setters, 16 sales reps, 8 coaches, and they're just burnt the heck out. They don't even like what they do anymore. And they're like, dude, I want to get to 7 figures. Well, it's like you have no margin to, right? So you need to keep things lean and simple. You need to shift your focus from making money, right? Some impact to making impact, from inconsistency to having recurring revenue and high ticket payments that add profit, and from just scaling to scale to serve. If your mission was to serve more people, I can almost guarantee you would make more money. So, what I want to do is show you guys a roadmap that some of us put together on the team, the roadmap that you need to follow to get your coaching business to where you want to get it to. I would love to see in the chat, what are some of your goals with your coaching business? Let's see in the chat. You can put a financial goal, you can put an impact goal. Doesn't matter to me. I just want to see what you guys are aiming for. Travis, would you add anything to what I've said so far?
Bro, this is gold. How many of you are enjoying this so far? Let us know in the chat.
50K a month profit. I love that. Serve people, change lives, change my family's life, make enough to fund an evangelist buddy. 5K a month. I love it.
That's incredible. Great goals,
Financial
guys.
independence. Sweet. Who's already making money in their coaching business? I would love to see like, yo, I'm doing 15K a month, 20K a month, whatever. I make about 1,000 a month. If you're making over 10K a month, put me in the chat. 3 to 8K a month, 5K ish. Dustin's over there. Me live, not online. Gotcha. So in-person coaching, cool. Sweet. 15 to 20K a month. Cool. So I'm gonna walk you through this chart here and just break down really each step of building a 7-figure coaching business. But I'm going to walk you through the first portion for beginners, right? So if your goal is to get to, 10K per month, to 30K per month, I'm going to show you how to do that, right? So step number 1 is you have to have an offer. Okay. What is an offer, right? It's something that you can offer to people to help them go from point A to point B, right? So if you're a fitness coach, here's how you can go from 190 pounds to 145, right? You're offering to help them get a transformation. And in my program, I'm going to show you how to dial in your mindset, your diet, your fitness, gym routine, all these different things. Those are your pillars, right? And then you have deliverables. You're going to get access to a course, community, group calls, one-to-one coaching, right? And it's 4K, let's say. We have a lot of fitness coaches, anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000, some even charging 8, right? So people will pay, right? You just have to know who the people are you're going after. And this is the niche, right? So what separates you from other people is by understanding who's your niche. Do you help like Gia, Christian women who are vegan? right? Like that's a killer niche. She knows exactly who to talk to, exactly who to target, and it makes her stand out from everyone else. So when people get on a call with her, they're like, oh, no doubt, I have to work with you, right? You could be like Johnny, who goes from owning a coffee cart to teaching people how to go from not having a coffee cart business to making $10,000 a month doing coffee for churches on the weekends, right? That's literally what he did. And he had a couple steps to it: course, community, group calls, and then boom, people paid $5,000 to be a part of the program, right? So you have to get clear on your offer and a compelling message and story that goes with it. Once you have that in place, you start chipping away at a course. Then you build out your community. This is the deliverables, right? Then you start hosting weekly group calls with your students. And maybe at the beginning, you start with one-to-one coaching. Okay. So that's all the offer facing side. Now it's like, how in the world are we going to get clients? The best way we have ever seen to get clients is Instagram because it's so easy. So all you need to do is optimize your Instagram bio, make what we call a viral transformation post, which basically just highlights where you were to where you are now, right? And then start posting content. And so many people have, limiting beliefs around this. And you'd be surprised at how many people are making 15 to 20 or $30,000 a month, but they're not even posting content. It's like, dude, no wonder nothing is working. You aren't working it, right? So 3 to 5 reels per week, one YouTube video per week. Hire a video editor. That way you don't have to edit the videos and start doing daily story CTAs, right? People come into our program, they're making 30, 50, 70K a month. And you're like, dude, how's your content going? They're like, bro, I haven't posted in 2 months. I don't do CTAs, whatever, right? And then once you get a flow in content, and this can happen extremely fast, like it doesn't take long, then you could launch a follower ad. And I just had someone yesterday, actually one of my friends from one of my old churches, he was like, dude, I spent 20 bucks and got 80 new followers, right? So this is where the marketing comes in. And marketing is super simple. It's just a funnel. You want to take strangers, okay, into becoming followers, which speaks to growing your audience, right? So many people, their problem is their audience just isn't big enough to hit the revenue goals they want to hit, right? And who are the people you're going to be targeting? The same people that over here we mapped out in your offer, the people that we want to help go from point A to point B, right? You used to suck at managing your money. I'm going to show you how to get a budget, right? So you can build wealth, A to B. Hey, are you, somebody who's making over 6 figures but still living paycheck to paycheck and not able to steward your money well? If so, give me a follow here on Instagram. Boom, right? Growing your audience. And this is, step one. Step two is the middle of funnel, which is where you start converting people, right? And then step three is the bottom where they actually get on a call with you. Okay. And how you move them from just being a follower into a call is what we call appointment setting, right? Which is a simple script to have conversations with people, and then a business tracker where you're tracking your KPIs. How many followers per day are you getting? How many people are you talking to? How many people booked a call, right? And before they get on the sales call with you, you're going to have them watch a 30-minute video breaking down your program, which is how you went from point A to point B, or how one of your clients received that transformation. Simply, all you need to do is record it, pin it on your Instagram bio, and have every single person that books a call with you watch that video before the call. This video alone could take you from 20K a month to 40K a month just by doubling your closing rate, right? Which gets us into closing, which is when you take a sales call with somebody over Zoom, which sales isn't necessarily a bad thing. Many people think that sales is bad, but if you're selling a good product, sales is actually the best thing you could do, right? Because you're helping people, right? For instance, my friend found out last night that he broke his neck in 2 places. And the doctor told him, dude, you are lucky to be alive right now. You should be paralyzed. Sit in this bed and don't move. It was crazy, right? That's actually one of my best friends. We hang out like every other day. We were at the gym together, and he went to the chiropractor because his neck has been messed up. And they were like, dude, you need to go to the ER right now. For 2 or 3 months, his neck had been broken, right? And that doctor sold him on the idea of going to the hospital. Why? Because he needed help, right? Some of your clients getting on these sales calls, they need help. Imagine what life would be like for them if they allowed you to help them, right? So if you can master these four skills, number one, building an offer, right, that people need. Number two, getting good at marketing, right? How to simply on Instagram get people to follow your stuff. Number three, how to get good at setting and sales, how to book calls with people who need your help, and how to enroll them into your coaching program. If you can get good at these three things and manage your mind, right? Some of you like, dude, Brandon, I'm making $20,000 a month. This is more money than I've ever made in my life. There's no way I could do 200,000 a month. Well, you're exactly right because your thoughts are a lid to where you want to go. Some of you are making, $3,000 a month at your 9 to 5 job, and you're like, bro, I want to start a coaching business, but I can't get over the fact that like, how am I going to do it? How could I charge $1,000? How could I charge 5,000? Well, the problem is you can't charge 5,000 because you don't believe that you would even pay 5,000. Why? Because you don't have $5,000. But let me tell you, not everybody in the world is broke. Not everybody in the world doesn't steward their money well. Not everybody in the world thinks like you think. There are people who pay a lot of money to get help. There are people who see the value in becoming the best version of themselves. There are people who value the skills that you have, right? And when you start seeing yourself better, what happens is the results in your life tend to follow, right? As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Some of you think so negatively about yourself and about your business and about the idea of even scaling a coaching business that you've already crossed off it happening, right? Before it even started. You've already failed. You have such a terrible mindset, some of you. And I love you because I had one too. I used to think everything was, my fault. The world's out to get me. I'll never be successful. That's only for, rich people. That's only blah, 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 blah. It's just simply not true. Take responsibility. Some of you are like, dude, I want to get in the best shape of my life. No, you don't. You haven't taken any action, right? So you have to shift from thinking you want to do this to believing it's possible and then executing. And what happens is certainty comes from action. One of our team members says that all the time, right? How are you going to know if it's going to work if you don't do anything about it, right? Some of you are sitting on here and you're like, dude, I really think I have what it takes. I actually think I could do this, but you don't do anything with it. I've spent over $50,000 in the last, several months on coaching of my own money to go to the next level. Why? Because I know that I need help. I spent $2,000 on my first coaching program when I didn't really have the money to spend it because I knew that I needed help. I've invested in mentors, not only with just finances, but with time. There was a guy I used to hang out with. He sold a app company, and I would literally try and hang out with him as much as possible, just because when I hung out with him, I was gaining wisdom and I was getting around people who were further along than me. And a byproduct of getting around people who are further along than you is you go to the next level, right? That's why the Bible says iron sharpens iron. Some of you aren't hanging around iron, you're hanging around a bunch of pansies who are literally talking death over your life. Sister, you're crazy. Nobody's going to pay you $1,000. Bro, you're nuts. Nobody would pay you to coach them on how to play the drums. I saw Matt hopped on. Nobody's going to coach you on fitness. Dude, you've only been doing this 6 months. See, negative, 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 and you're wondering why you're stuck. It's because you need to get around people who are going to call out the best in you, and you need a mentor, right? It doesn't have to be me, but you need a mentor, and you need to get around people who are going to help you take things to the next level, right? Put in the chat next level if you're taking things to the next level. Yeah. You're not called to be the bottom, right? You're called to be the top. If there's going to be anybody in this world that has money, shouldn't it be Christians? How are you going to lend to the poor if you're broke? How are you going to take care of orphans and widows if you have nothing to give? How are you going to clothe those that don't have clothes? How are you going to feed the hungry if you have no food? How are you going to leave an inheritance to your children's children and you're in massive debt The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. That's exactly right. I'm sick and tired of talking to Christians who talk negative. I was just with some people the other day and they were like, dude, I was doing this men's retreat and they were like, bro, we could get Chick-fil-A or we could get these tacos. We should get these tacos because they're cheaper. And I said, screw that, dude. Get the most expensive breakfast we can find in this small little town and bring it to these men. I'm sick of it. I hate if you want to be on my bad side, get around me and start talking about crap like that. Oh, dude, I wanted to get this new uh car, but it's expensive, and I don't know if I can afford it. Okay, dude, just sell your car. Just work on riding a bicycle, right? Just speak death all over everything you do, right? And this is why so many people can't take their, coaching business to the next level or scale their coaching business because you're a freaking negative person that nobody likes being around. No wonder you don't have any clients, right? And I love you guys. I'm just keeping it real today. I'm trying to help you get where God's called you to go, and you're not going to get there with that mindset, right? Who here's a great quote. What is the difference between people who do great things, right, and people who don't? People who do great things do great things. It's really that simple. Like we don't have to overcomplicate this, right? Cool. So I covered the basics of how to get your coaching business off the ground. And mindset, genuinely, I'm being 100% serious when I say this. Mindset is probably 99% of the battle if you're at zero, right? I'm just going to give you unfiltered, candid advice. The best thing you could do, if, first of all, you need to make a decision. Do you really want to start this business or are you just full of crap? Like, do you really want to start your coaching business? Make that decision. If it's a yes, then let it be a yes. If it's a no, then let it be a no and stop pursuing it. But if it's a yes, this is the advice I would give you. And it's exactly what I did. You need to rip the band-aid off and invest in yourself. You need to hire a mentor. 100%. How in the world are you going to expect your clients to pay you $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, and you yourself won't even do it? You're not going to be able to. You're going to get on sales calls and have absolutely no conviction saying it's 2 grand. You've never even invested 2 grand in yourself, right? And I'm not saying it has to be me. Leave this call, get on another coaching call, wire somebody some money to coach you. That's just my personal belief, and I have lived it out. So you attract people like you. And if you're a stingy person that doesn't invest in themselves, it's going to bleed through everything you do. And you're going to attract a bunch of stingy people who get to the end of the call and say, it's too much. I need to think about it. Blah, blah, blah. Right? So if you don't even do what you're telling people to do, you're a hypocrite. Just being honest with you. Okay. And some of you, you've already invested in yourself. And if you have, and it went south and you have a bad taste in your mouth from it, I sympathize with you. I paid $28,000 for a coaching program that was worth $28. Nothing that was said would happen happened. But I still learned from it. And I had my first 100K month that month because we said, dude, we don't have any money. Now we have to make this work. Right? So every time I've invested in myself, things have went to the next level. Next step, you need to get your mindset wrapped around the fact that you can actually do this. And the best way to do it is to rub shoulders with people who've done it, right? Because they're not different than you. So many people come to me and they say, yeah, well, my offer's, just different. Or, my situation's just different. Here's the reality. It wasn't easy for anyone. Okay. Unless you're, Logan Paul or Justin Bieber or Mariah Carey, and you're a singer with millions of followers already and a loyal bought-in fan base. Yeah, it might be easier for them to coach this because having fans. But little did you know, they used to not. So the journey is the same for everyone. You might have different obstacles than me. I might have different obstacles than you. But if you are going to do this and you decide to do it, right, you have to stick through it. Okay. So that's the 0 to 10K, 20K a month battle. is belief in yourself. Like 99% of it is you investing money into yourself, getting a mentor, and doing the work. There's no secrets. You're not going to find another secret out there that doesn't line up with that. Okay. So I'm going to move on for this, and we're going to talk about scaling to seven figures, right? So doing what I just told you will get you anywhere from 10 to 30K a month, unless you're charging like 10 or 15K per client. You could be doing more like 70, whatever. But we'll just say it gets you to 10 to 30, just for the example's sake. What's going to take you from 30 to 200 a month is a few simple things. Number one, the first funnel we launch is the IG growth funnel, right? Which is top of funnel follower ads to grow your audience. Then we retarget that audience, you know, with retargeting ads to a message. And then literally every day you wake up and your phone has a bunch of new followers, a bunch of inbound messages saying that they want help with the thing you can help them with. From those messages, you book in a call. From those calls, you take them on Zoom. You ideally close, one out of four, even better, one out of three. And then you get, worst case scenario, a 3x return on ad spend, upwards of 10x, right? So then essentially, you spend 500 bucks on ads, you get 1500 back, you put more into the ads, and then it just becomes a process of scaling your ad spend, growing your audience, right? Then what happens is you have enough money and margin to hire someone to help you manage your messages, which is what we call an appointment setter, right? So literally give you the hiring template, where to find them, the SOPs to train them on. So now you've bought back your time and you're no longer sending messages. You have someone else logged in your phone, literally doing it for you, right? So then to go from 15 to 30, right, to 100, we need to increase ad spend. So boom, we start increasing ad spend by launching more ads, right? You're spending 2,000 a month. We go to 10,000, right? By just launching more ads. Okay. Now you're doing 30, 50, 60K a month. Then we launch YouTube ads, right? Now you're doing 50, 60, whatever. Then we launch the school funnel, right? But then stuff starts to break, right? You're taking too many sales calls. So then we need to hire a closer, right? Exactly, what we teach in our program, how to hire them, where to find them, the SOPs you need to be able to train them. Now that you have somebody managing your messages, now a closer taking calls for you, guess what? Boom, we're going to scale your ads further. We're going to increase the ad spend, more creatives. So now we not only have a funnel on Instagram, we have a funnel on YouTube, and we have a funnel on school, and we're running ads, right, to all of them. And every day you're booking 3 to 10 sales calls for you and your closer, right? And then you might need to bring on two closers, right? And then the next bottleneck happens, okay? The next bottleneck is, and it's a good bottleneck to have, Brandon, I've got too many clients. I can't coach all these people. Perfect. Then you hire a CSM. This is somebody who helps you build out a client roadmap, manage systems and operations, hires other coaches, and then coaches your students. So now, once they pay and they're in your system, right, you've got a team of coaches helping you fulfill. And then guess what? You have officially bought back most of your time, right? All you're doing now is making content, right? Doing group calls and thinking about how to take your business to the next level, right? So now that you have more time, you can launch new offers that'll help you make more money, right? A back end offer, a mastermind, an offer that stacks recurring revenue, right? Something that you can charge more for, $5,000, $10,000. Maybe it's like, I'll just use the example of like the drum coaching, right? Maybe you charge $2,000 for your program, you sell it to 100 people, right? Then out of those 100 people, some of them want more help. Some of them have a budget on staff, like at their church with their ministry. Maybe you fly out for $10,000, $5,000 and coach the whole worship team, right? Or maybe you do, maybe you have live events where all of your clients can fly in, pay $500 each. And you've got 30 people there and you're hanging out. Maybe some people want more than just the course community group calls. Maybe they want one-to-one coaching ongoing where you can review their Sunday sets. Like there's so many different ways to scale and build out systems. And that's where people get confused. They're like, dude, I don't know what to do. That's why we basically limited your creativity to these boxes. So if you want to get creative on how to increase your ad spend. Then get creative on how to make a YouTube VSL. Then get creative on the school funnel, right? Then get creative on these segments. And this is what's going to take things to the next level for you. Yeah, I would just say this, like specific to the online coaching space. Here is a way you can guarantee that you will never be successful. Be someone who consumes a bunch of free stuff and never applies it, and also consume a bunch of free stuff and never get a mentor. If you do that, you have just ensured that you will never be a seven-figure coach, in my opinion. Like the most common theme I see between the people who actually are successful and never do anything is that right there. Consume a bunch of free stuff, talk a big talk, but when it comes down to it, you have, no, for lack of better words, I don't have a better word. You have no cojones to take action. You're a pansy, and I love you, and I know nobody on this call is like that, right? You're action takers. You're people who are going all in if it's what you feel called to do. So, yeah, here's what we'll do. I'm gonna let Ro actually. He's our client success manager. He's an absolute beast. He wants to say a few words, so I'm gonna have him come on and share a few things.
Yo, appreciate everyone for jumping on the call. I respect it because most people won't do that. I am Ro, by the way. So, been in this space for about 4 or 5 years. I started when I was uh started as an apprentice when I was 16. I was like saw these dropshipping ads and I was like, this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna be a millionaire in like a year. Tried a few of that stuff. I was making I'm in the UK, so I was making £3, £3.70 an hour. So and I was making £600 a month, working 40 hours a week at 16. And I took 250 of that I had to pay to my parents. And then the remainder I remember I had my £100 a month expenses, which was the lowest I could do. So I didn't get anything for myself. And the remainder I had, that £200, I saved it for 2 years and I was like, I'm going to invest in the coach. I invested and the person was telling me how to build a marketing agency. Um, One thing I realized on that call I had was I made it basically everything that Brandon's saying on this call, that Travis is saying on this call. It's like you have to burn the boat, you have to take action. I was a person who's watching YouTube, constantly reading books, all these things, and I just never done anything. Um, and for me, I actually done that. So I paid 4K that I'd saved up and I put 2K in the credit card. And I just got the credit card as well. So I maxed it out. I invested, I followed everything the mentor said, and I got to two clients, charged higher ticket, which I was scared to. So I know how that feels, charging higher ticket when you've never done it before. I signed two clients. I got to 10K a month in 40 days from a marketing agency. And then I realized, because I promised my clients that I will get them a result. If I don't, then I'll refund them. I couldn't get them the result because I didn't get taught business. I didn't really have the coaching. I just got the front end. So I had to refund them, but I quit my job the day before. So I had nothing left. I told my family, my friends, everyone that this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like a millionaire of this business. And then I had no job, no career, all my savings down, everything into this coach, and I had to refund the money I had back to the client. So I had zero. I was actually like 2K in debt. So then I realized, okay, what skills do I have? I realized I closed two people, so then I went to a closing for one of the person I worked for. So then I started doing sales. Then I realized actually I had to learn skills, and it's not just what all these gurus and people say on this internet. It's not just you need to learn a few strategies. You need to be around real people, real business owners who actually run a business, and they have skills. There are things that you don't have or you don't know how to do, and that's why you're not successful. You need to learn how to get attention, which is marketing. You need to learn how to convert that attention, which is sales. You need to learn how to create a value offer, which is a coaching program that people actually want. Again, so many coaching calls of people who say, I wanna like build this, I wanna help someone with this thing. And people don't want it. They don't need it. It's just a thing to create up. That's not business. So it's learning the skills of exactly what people need, learn how to market, learn how to sell, and then learn how to fulfill. Because the next problem I can guarantee you, because I work with clients, is if you figure this out and you get some clients, then you're going to be stuck on how do I fulfill? How do I optimize it? How do I actually get results? How do I make sure they're happy? And so there's always a problem solution. And so that's why I believe coaching and getting help from someone is genuinely the best thing you can do if you want to guarantee you're doing everything you can every single day to get to your goal. There's no guarantee you will get results in anything. That's why I don't believe, because again, so many calls where people said, I invested in this coach, I bought this thing, I didn't get a result. Honestly, 99% of the time, it's probably you anyway, right? If I asked every single one of you and you invested into a program and I said, hey, why do you feel like that program did not get results? And a lot of times people will be like, oh, well, they didn't do anything for me, or they lied and they're scammers, right? That's the common response. And then I'll ask you if someone else got results with that program, and you'll say yes. So why didn't you get results? And then if I get deep down to it, it's like, oh, I didn't really put the time in. I didn't really put the energy, the effort into it. Right. So we have to take responsibility. All of it comes to us and we have to learn the skills. And when I learned that and I realized that's what I saw, because I used to get in 6, 7, 8 calls a day with coaches like yourself, beginners or advanced, people from zero all the way to doing 100, 500, $1 million a month. And there's a common denominator between the people who succeed and people who fail. Every single one who succeeds takes responsibility for their actions. Right. And so that's why I just noticed. I wanted to just give my insight in that. And for me, over the past 4 years, I've already just developed my skills. And that's why I'm able to help people get results because I've gone through all of that. I've had the coaches, etc. And so, um, another thing I would say is, honestly, like, look at the consequences. You know, a lot of times people say, hey, like, if I invest in this program or if I spend ads, right, money on ads, I'm scared to lose money, right? It's a common thing. What's the consequences if you don't run ads? What's the consequences if you don't invest? The consequence is larger. The consequence, you'll stay in your job for 4 years that you hate. You will not get the retirement that you want. You won't be able to provide for your kids. You will stay in debt. So that is real consequences. And when your consequences are larger than the dream or the goal, that's when you actually take action. And so the number one thing I realized in psychology and why people do things in life is because of pain. They want to get away from pain, or number two, it's get away from the fear of future pain. Right? Like when we say we want freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom, they're desires. But what we want more important than that is we don't want to be 60 and not be able to provide for ourselves, our family, our wife, our husband, our parents, or whatever it is. That's what it is. So think about that. The consequences of what will happen if I keep doing what I've been doing for the past 6, 12, 18, 24 months. Because let me tell you one thing, it will continue and it will get worse. I promise you, I can guarantee that if you do not change. And it took me so many times. I got to the point where I was 15K in debt and I owed 10K to my family, two close family members, to realize that like I have to do something because no one's going to do anything for me. And honestly, you don't want to get to 10K a month or 50K a month or 100K a month by accident. You want to make sure you get there where like you know what you've done, you learned the skills, you've gone through the trials, you understand how you've got there. Because there's so many people where you can get lucky. You do one organic post, right? And it gets a lot of people, you get some clients. And then it's like, well, how do I continue it? Because you don't have the foundations. So, few more words. Learn the foundations. It's skills, right? There is there is skills, right? And then there's also the beliefs.
Hmm.
The reason why you aren't where you are is because you have like your beliefs, the family, the upbringing, the school system, everyone you're around has got you to think the way you're thinking right now. And so you have to change them beliefs, right? So many times, and I know this sounds kind of woo-woo. I used to think it too, but I promise you it's beliefs. Right? Because I'll get on coaching calls and I'll get in a one-on-one call when someone joins. If any of you join, you're gonna call me. We'll build out your offer, etc. And the first thing is like we need to charge high ticket, and they're like, well, I can't charge high ticket. I can't charge 4K for a fitness offer. No one will ever pay that. And I'll be like, I can name 5 people right now who charge 4K. So you tell me how you can't, because I can prove it to you. That's a belief shift. You don't believe people will pay 4K. And that will stop you from charging high ticket, scaling your business, achieving the freedom, right? Actually doing what you want because of that belief. So it's just shifting all of them beliefs. And the best way, honestly, to do that is actually by having a coach, having a community of people who already believe in the thing that you want to be. So like if someone's at 10K a month as a fitness coach and you're a fitness coach and you're at zero, if you be alongside with them, you speak to them, you ask them questions, understand what they're doing, you will slowly start to change and believe the way they believe. And then naturally you'll become the person who is making 10K a month. Right now, every single person on this call, the reason why you're not making 100 grand a month for your coaching business, because you are not a person who is worthy of 100 grand a month. You're not, you don't have the skills, you don't have the habits, you don't have the disciplines, you don't have the consistency, you don't have the beliefs of that person. If you did, you'd be there. And it's like every level. I've seen it from coaches where the 100K a month to a million a month, to a million a month to 3 million a month. It's the same thing. It just changes. But I promise you, the 0 to 10K a month, which I know is kind of like a meme now, it's like everyone to make 10K a month. But that is the hardest transition because you're transitioning from a full-time job person who believes in this way to becoming a business owner. You have to change everything that you believe for the past 20 years that your family, parents, school has taught you, which is the most difficult thing. But I say like, and what? Either you stick to it and you stick with the job and you be happy and forget all the desires and goals, right? Which is fine. Like you can do that. Not everyone has to be a business owner, but like either pick one or pick the other. But if you're gonna pick the business owner, then you have to go through you have to go through them belief shifts, and you have to take action. And it's gonna be uncomfortable, but it's like that's why I go back to the consequences part where if like the consequences are big enough, where it's like I hate my job, that's why I was. I hate every single morning. And the way I quit my job, which took me a long time, I spoke to my mentor who was there for 25 years, and he said, I have 2 kids, I can barely pay my mortgage. And honestly, if I were you at your age, I would not do this. Like, just leave. And then I asked myself, if I stayed in this job and I was making, let's say, what was like the highest thing I could think of a year? 100 grand a year. If I was making 100 grand a year of this job and I stuck with it 40 years, would I do it? And I said no. And then I thought if I did this business thing or worked in this space and I was making 20K a year, but I actually loved it, would I do it? And I said yes. So even if I was not making the money I want to, just because I like it and it's what I want, I would stick to it. And once I made that decision, I quit the job. And so like think through things that way, right? Because there is a consequence to where you are now. There is a consequence to you decided not doing it. And a lot of times it takes people so long until something hits them in life, because it will, right? Like someone has a health problem, you get into debt, something happens, and then they almost get slapped in the face and they realize, okay, I need to do something. Well, you don't have to wait for that. You can do it now. If not, you know what I mean? Then just enjoy your life, right? Because that is how it is. That's the reality. It's like one or the other. So,
So good.
I know I might be sounding a bit too direct, but honestly, that's what I needed. I was on a call, and that's the person spoke to me like that in that way, and I realized that's why I needed because everyone around you in your life will never speak to you like this, right? Like they will just kind of say, "Hey, you're doing well, awesome. You made a post today, awesome. You went to the gym once a week, awesome." Right? No one will tell you directly of what's going wrong. No one tells you the truth. And I tell you, in our program, we tell you the truth because it's our best interest in mind is like getting you to your goal. And so I'd rather tell you what you need to know rather than like what feels nice. And honestly, when you start to speak like this, you will become this person. And then logically, even with your data, you'll look at your business, the data, etc. You look at it through this lens. You won't be emotional. You'll be logical. Appreciate it, Brandon. That's me.
100%. And I really think there's two types of people on the call, right? I know there is. There's those of you, really, there's four types of people. There's those of you who are, between the 0 and 10K a month mark, right? One segment of you. And then there's those of you who are, between 10 and 100, right? And there's that segment of you, right? And you feel like after everything we've shared, it's time to draw a line in the sand, right? Like, okay, I need to go all in on this thing. Like, it's time to, you know, take it to the next level and at least take the first step of making that decision and, getting some help, right? It's just like my friend who the chiropractor said, yo, you need to go to the doctor. It's like, yo, you need somebody to take an outside look and help you and hold you accountable on what you need to do, right? And there's two choices, right? So there's four groups of people. You're either an action taker, right? Or you're not. You're either an action taker here, or you're going to be a consumer and keep watching free stuff and stay confused and stay stuck. Or you're going to be an action taker. And I have a feeling that everybody on this call, the good majority, is action takers. So guys, like I was saying, there are two types of people. You've made it this far. You've been watching. I work with action takers. Everybody that I've seen build a successful coaching business has been an action taker. Like, there's hardly any people that I've ever seen come in that are half in, half out, and, you know, crush it. So if you're one of the ones, you're an action taker, you're like, yo, Brandon, I'm ready to take action, like one of the two people that I just circled. What I want you to do is click the link down below to book in a time to chat with us. On that call, we're going to get a sense of where you're at currently, where you want to get to, help you identify any of the bottlenecks that could be holding you back, and really just lay out a plan to help you get where you want to go. And again, we don't work with everybody. So if you are a good fit, you know, we could walk you through what it looks like to work with us and get our help doing this. But nonetheless, you're going to leave the call with a ton of value and clarity. So again, if that's you, click the link down below to be an action taker, and we'll see you on the call.